Ready for a deep dive into a world of dragons and destiny? Buckle up, because we're taking a close look at Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros' novel about Violet Soaringale, who's facing a future she never asked for.
And it all begins with a bridge. Well, not just any bridge. Picture this. A crumbling, narrow path across this huge chasm. It leads to the Rider's Quadrant, where all the Dragon Rider training happens. This is the parapet, and it's the first big test for Violet, our main character.
Kind of like the Sorting Hat putting a Ravenclaw into Gryffindor, right? Violet would rather have her nose in a book learning lore, not fighting in the air with fire-breathing creatures.
Exactly. But it's in her blood, her family. They're all about the Dragon Rider life. Her mom, General Sorengale, she's the epitome of that. A powerful woman, hardened by war, totally committed to the Dragon Rider world.
And it's not just a mom pushing her daughter, is it? It's bigger than that. The pressure to fit in, to follow the path laid out for you, even when it's not what you want. I mean, a lot of us get that feeling you have to meet other people's expectations.
For sure. And for Violet, it's more complicated. She's got the memory of her father, a scribe, who instilled in her a love of knowledge.
So she's pulled in two directions. Her mom's ambition, her dad's legacy. And then there's this other thing, something that really got me thinking. Brennan, Violet's brother. Or rather, the fact that he's gone.
Yeah, his absence is almost a character in itself. He's gone, but the way he died, how no one talks about him, it's all very hush-hush. And then there's that journal he left, a survival guide for the Writer's Quadrant.
Like he knew something was up, like he was trying to warn Violet.
A trail of breadcrumbs leading us deeper into this mystery. Why would a writer need a survival guide for the place they're supposed to train? And why would Violet's mother, the general, want to erase any trace of him? What's she hiding?
Those were the questions that hooked me right away. Clearly, there's more to this world than we see at first glance, something darker going on.
Something Brennan might have found out. Something that maybe cost him his life. And now, Violet, with his journal and her own growing courage, she's heading into that world totally unaware of the dangers ahead.
A classic story, right? The hero stepping into the unknown, no idea what they're getting into, all these secrets waiting to be uncovered. But that's what makes it so good. We're right there with Violet, feeling that mix of fear and excitement, wondering what's on the other side of that terrifying bridge.
And as we go deeper into Violet's story, we're going to find more than dragons and bravery. We'll see injustice, the ethics of having so much power, and the price of blind loyalty. Because in this world, just like in ours, things are rarely what they seem. Remember that survival guide, the one Brennan left? It becomes even more important as we get into the thick of Dragon Rider training. Threshing.
Okay, for those of us who haven't, memorized the Dragon Rider rulebook, what's threshing? Sounds intense.
Imagine a gladiatorial arena. Yeah, but instead of lions, it's unbonded dragons. And they've got names like Red Scorpion Tail and Brown Club Tail. Not exactly the friendly kind. These dragons are weapons, bred for battle.
In the first years, they just, go in there and hope for the best.
Pretty much. It's brutal, terrifying. The dragons choose their riders, and if they don't, well, not many make it out alive.
So it's a life or death lottery. No wonder Brennan wrote that survival guide. I mean, what does it say about a society that does this, even for something as important as bonding with a dragon?
It says a lot about their priorities. Strength, ruthlessness, being in control. Those are the things they value most.
And Violet, our book-loving, reluctant hero, she's going into this. Hard to see her lasting long.
That's what makes it so unexpected when Taryn chooses her.
Taryn, the black dragon, the one described as this huge, scary beast. Not exactly who you'd picture picking the quiet girl with her nose in a book.
Right. This is where Fourth Wing flips the script. It makes us rethink what real strength is.
Because it's not just muscles and fighting skills, right?
Yeah.
There's something deeper, a connection that goes beyond that.
Absolutely. And this connection, this bond between rider and dragon, it gets even more complicated. Turns out, Taryn is mated to another dragon.
And not just any dragon. This is Skagale, the powerful blue dragon, written by, who else? Vaden Rearson.
Exactly. Suddenly, everything's connected. Violet, our unlikely hero, is bound to a dragon who's mated to the dragon of this brooding, mysterious wing leader she seems to clash with constantly.
It's almost like Shakespearean, This whole dance of fate, duty, and desire, all happening against a backdrop of political intrigue and ancient secrets.
And the bond between their dragons, it's not just symbolic. It has real power, affects their abilities, their destinies. They're literally tied together whether they want to be or not.
Which makes their interactions so much more intense, right?
Yeah.
That constant awareness of each other, like watching a dance on a tightrope.
And as Violet trains, we start seeing her own power emerge, something beyond just riding a dragon.
Yeah, it's more than just fighting skills or strategy. There's something else there, something she doesn't fully get, something that makes her a target.
Remember those attacks we talked about? Someone trying to take Violet out within the supposedly safe riders quadrant? It means something bigger is going on, something more than just rivalry or competition.
Makes you wonder, what is it about Violet that makes her such a threat? Is it the Terran connection? Her family history? Or is it something else entirely, something she hasn't even discovered yet?
Those are the questions that keep us hooked. And as Violet gets closer to the truth, as she unravels the mysteries around her family and the writer's quadrant, the danger just keeps getting worse. It's a race against time, a fight for survival, with the fate of the entire kingdom at stake.
So we left off with Violet facing danger everywhere, conspiracies in the Rider's Quadrant, and her own power is starting to show. And this is where things get really wild. I'm still processing it all.
Because sometimes the truth is even crazier than fiction. And for Violet, it's also heartbreaking. Remember Azad Ryerson, that brooding wing leader, the one with the mysterious past, always connected to Violet somehow.
Yeah, he's hard to forget. A constant presence in Violet's story, both a source of tension and, I gotta say, attraction.
Which makes the truth about him even more shocking. Zodin's not just a skilled writer. He leads the rebellion, the very group his quadrant's supposed to destroy. Those marked riders, families branded as traitors, they're real, and Zodin's in charge.
Whoa, talk about a twist. It's one thing to uncover a conspiracy. It's another to realize the person you trusted, maybe even had feelings for, has been using you the whole time.
It's deception on a whole other level. Shows how cunning and ruthless Zodin is. He's been playing Violet using their connection, all for his own goals.
Makes you question everything you thought about him, about them, and it plays into that theme of perception versus reality, which seems to run through this whole story.
Exactly. And this betrayal, it forces Violet and us as readers to face something uncomfortable. History's rarely objective. The winners write the history books, and here, those in power have controlled the story of the rebellion.
So we're left wondering, who are the real bad guys here? Is it Xaden and the marked riders fighting for a cause labeled treason by the rulers? Or is there something more, an injustice buried under years of propaganda?
These are the questions Fourth Wing makes us think about. It's not about easy answers or clear-cut good versus evil. It's about wrestling with the complexities of truth, loyalty, and what we'll sacrifice for our beliefs.
And as if the political drama and emotional roller coaster weren't enough, there's another layer, the Venin.
Yeah, pure nightmare fuel. These creatures, once thought to be myths, are all too real, and they're tied to the rebellion, adding a whole other dimension to this already complicated situation.
Imagine creatures straight out of your worst fears, powerful and grotesque, wielding terrifying magic. These aren't just monsters to be defeated, they represent something ancient, a threat to the very existence of this world.
And their existence raises the stakes. This isn't just about power struggles or personal vendettas anymore. It's about survival, protecting the kingdom from something that could wipe everything out.
Which brings us to the big battle at Athabine, the culmination of everything. This isn't just about land or even a throne. It's a fight for the soul of this world.
And the cost is immense. Lives are lost, sacrifices are made, and Violet is forever changed.
Liam's death, Zodin's shadow who was supposed to protect Violet, that one really got me. He was such a complex character, torn between loyalty to Zodin and his feelings for Violet.
His death, sacrificing himself to save her, highlights the tragedy of this conflict, and it reveals another secret, adding to the themes of lineage and destiny. We find out Liam's a direct descendant of the king who united the kingdom ages ago.
A secret kept to protect him, to keep people from using his lineage, proves that even in a world of dragons and magic, some things never change. Power, bloodlines, and the desire to control fate.
In the end, Violet's left to pick up the pieces, dealing with the Zaiden's betrayal, Liam's death, and her own growing power.
So what's the big takeaway from our deep dive into Fourth Wing? What can we as readers learn from Violet's experience?
It's about challenging what we think we know, questioning the stories we're told, and realizing truth is rarely black and white. It's about forging your own path, even when expectations and a legacy you didn't ask for are weighing you down.
And maybe most importantly, it's about the power of choice. Even after all the betrayal, the loss, and the harsh truths, Violet chooses to fight for a better future, even if it means defying those who think they know best. A powerful message, especially in our world, where we're constantly bombarded with information, agendas, and conflicting stories.
It really is. Fourth Wing doesn't give us easy answers, but it reminds us that we have the power to question, to choose, and ultimately to create our own narratives. And that's something worth remembering, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's in a story that stays with you long after you finish the last page, leaving you pondering those big questions and looking at the world with a fresh perspective. And that's what a good deep dive should do, right? Get you thinking, get you talking, and maybe even inspire you to see things a little differently. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those dragon wings flapping.